there's my dog. Hi, baby. He wants to come in here, but he can't do that. I'm like nervous for this story time. Hey guys, what's up? It's Savannah. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are doing something that we have not done in so long. Today we are doing another story time video. You guys have been asking for story times for a really long time now, and it's not that I don't have stories to tell, it's just picking and choosing which ones I want to tell. We're back today with another high school horror, and if you are not familiar with high school horrors, because I have not done them in so long, basically a high school horror is a story time from my high school experience, because if you are any which way familiar with my high school experience, it was a complete and total shit show. Oh, it was so bad. It was awful. Today's story time is one that I was really debating on filming because it doesn't put me in a good light, like at all, like whatsoever. Obviously, a guy cheated on his girlfriend with me, and I knew about it. But I was thinking about it, and it was like, you know what? Like, if I came on here all the time and pretended to you guys that I was like some angel, halo on my head the whole nine, like, that's not real. Like, that's just not true. And also, this story comes with a lesson, and I feel like if I can come on here and tell you guys what I've done in my past, whether that be good or bad or like whatever, I feel like if I can follow it up with kind of like a lesson or what I learned or whatever, then hopefully it'll kind of help you guys not have to make the mistakes that I made in order to learn the things that I learned. Way too late in life, might I add. So for today, that is what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be telling you guys the time a guy cheated on his girlfriend with me, and I knew about it. I knew he had I'm so stupid. So this story starts when I was a junior in high school. So I'm 20 now, so this is give or take. It's a little over 3 years. I've changed. I'm a different person, okay? This was nearing the end of my junior year, so it was about... Bro. So basically, I was a junior in high school. This was around April, so it was kind of nearing the end of my junior year. To give you a little bit of a backstory on this boy, if you have seen any of my high school horrors, you would be familiar with a little friend of mine that I call Johnny. Basically, Johnny is the boy that I met my junior year of high school, and at the time, keyword at the time, I was crazy about this boy. I literally would have gone to such concerning lengths, and did go to such concerning lengths for this boy, like so concerning, so mind-blowing, so like, what were you thinking? Like, if I could go back and like shake myself and be like, bro, wake up, like I would have. At this time, me and Johnny had not been together for like 3 or 4 months. We weren't on speaking terms, we weren't on talking terms, because we weren't really in the same friend group. Johnny was definitely one of the popular kids. He was like the big guy on campus. Johnny was like so dope, like I don't know. At this point in time, like I had started to become friends with a couple girls in Johnny's friend group, and for the sake of this story, we will call the main girl that I was friends with in this story, we'll call her Brooke. Thumbs up this video if you get the One Tree Hill reference. So Brooke and I had kind of started to become friends. We weren't like best friends, like super close, but we definitely were like friendly at this point, kind of like getting to know each other. So one Friday, Brooke had told me that there was like this party going on, or like this kickback or whatever, at this other kid's house, and we'll call him Jack's house. She wanted me to go with her. We were gonna go to her house, get ready, and go to this party. And at this time, Johnny had started dating this other girl, and for the sake of the story, we will call her Rachel. Rachel was the sweetest girl on the face of this planet. So nice. She was so nice. When me and Johnny were together like a couple months prior, he would tell me about Rachel and how Rachel was like the one that got away, and like Rachel was so amazing and like so great, and he like loved Rachel so much, to literally the point where I was like, dude, go be with Rachel. Like, if you want to be with Rachel that badly, go be with Rachel. And he's like, no, Sal, like, I love you. And I'm like, okay. If a guy's literally telling you that he's still in love with another girl, like, don't stay with him. So now that we got all the background information down, now going back to the actual night that this happened, where Brooke had told me that there was going to be a kickback at this guy Jack's house. Johnny and Rachel weren't going to be there because they were going out some anniversary, birthday, some sort of significant day for them. I don't really know what it was. So me and Brooke end up going to this thing, and we're hanging out for a little bit. We're drinking a little bit, like not too much. I had not like reached my full-blown like party phase just yet in my life, so like I was still taking it kind of slow. Night kind of goes on, and a couple hours later, man of the hour himself walks into the room. Johnny walks into Jack's bedroom, and I remember everyone just kind of like stopped in their tracks for a second, and I really didn't understand why. I remember everyone kind of like looking at me, and I was just kind of like looking at them like, what are you looking at? And then I was looking at Johnny like, why are you here? Like, it was a confusing moment. And like, he's got a girlfriend. I'm like letting him him have his space. I'm doing my own thing. At this point, I'm like kind of tipsy, like having a good time, like kind of just like walking around. Johnny ends up coming up to me and was like, Sav, like, can I talk to you for a second? And I was just like, yeah, sure, like, what's up? Basically, he just apologized for the way he had treated me, said he was just a really big dick and that I didn't deserve to be treated that way. And I'm just standing there like, no shit. Like, you didn't deserve to be cheated on. Oh, thank you. Headaches, such headaches. Let me explain to you how the setup of this house worked, because this is actually very important to the story. Jack's room was on the first level of his house, and so he had these like sliding doors that you would open, and if you walked out this path, it led you to this outdoor basketball court, and then if you walked down this other path, it like led you to this outdoor tennis court. This was like a very big house. I don't really understand it. So a little bit later in the night, I ended up outside on the outdoor basketball court. There was like a group of us sitting around, just kind of like talking and hanging out, and then Johnny came in, and I remember Johnny sat down, and I remember one by one, people started to kind of walk away. Like one by one, slowly but surely, people started to like leave the group until it was eventually just me and Johnny. And at this point is when he starts spitting his game. This is when he starts saying every single thing that I ever wanted to hear. Anything that any girl would ever want to hear. Letting you go was my biggest regret. I look at you at school all the time and just think about how stupid I was. You don't know how many times I've written the text and I've never pressed send. When you're like 16, 17 and like still so incredibly caught up on this one boy, like this boy still had my heart at this time. He was still like my person in my mind. And so obviously hearing all these things, I'm like, oh my God, like he's in love with me again. And I remember just sitting there and being like what? Like, what? In the back of my mind, I'm still thinking about Rachel. And I remember I asked him that. I was like, well, what about Rachel? And he was just like, oh, Rachel's amazing, but she's not you. No one has ever made me feel in the way that you do, blah, 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 blah. Fuck boy to the fucking max, like, my God. At this time, I got up and I went and started walking towards the tennis court because I was looking for Brooke because I felt like we had been there for 37 fucking hours. Standing there and like looking around, and all I see is Johnny just getting closer and closer and closer. And at this time, Johnny had came up to me and said, do I even want to say what he said? Starts talking about how he missed us and missed our relationship and blah, blah, blah. And I told him that I didn't miss it. And I was like standing my ground because I was like, no, like I don't miss it. Like you miss me. Like I don't miss you. And inside I'm internally combusting. Then he just went in for it and he kissed me. And at that point, I was screwed because what was I gonna do at that point? Like people were at this party. It wasn't like it was just us. Like there were other people around to like see what was going on, knew that me and Johnny were standing around and like talking, whatever. So Johnny kissed me. I let him kiss me, and that was really, really dumb. And it was a really bad decision. And then I remember I was looking around for Brooke, and Brooke was off doing her own thing. And I remember I just walked Johnny to his car, and we were like walking and talking, and then he kissed me at his car. And it was me, Brooke, Johnny, and this other girl and guy. And we like all spent the night at like Jack's house. And like nothing happened between me and Johnny, but just having what had happened prior in the night happen was like enough. So to give you a little bit of the aftermath, that happened on a Friday. I remember we got to school that Monday, and I was a complete and total train wreck. I was absolutely so fucking out of my mind, like so emotional. I was a mess. I was skipping classes. If I was going to them, I was crying all the way through them and had to leave halfway out. So I gave Johnny the benefit of the doubt, right? Like I gave him the benefit of the doubt that he would have it in him to tell Rachel what had happened. Why I ever thought he would do that was so incredibly dumb, because obviously he cheated on me and didn't tell me. So why would he cheat on someone else and tell them? Like it made no sense. And I was literally watching me and Johnny's relationship play out right in front of my eyes when him and I first broke up. Literally just like I knew how badly Johnny had hurt me, and I knew what Rachel was about to go through, and the fact that I was the cause of that killed me. The only person that really knew about it was Brooke, because I had told her, and then everyone kind of had their speculations, but I remember Brooke told me that like I couldn't tell anyone, that this had to be a secret. And I remember telling her like, no, like there is no way that I'm going to be able to keep this a secret. There's no way that I'm going to be able to just kind of let this one slide. And long story short, this secret did not last very long. It lasted about 3 days before Rachel's best friend called me and basically asked me what had happened, because she'd been hearing things. Like I said, my school was super small, word traveled like that, and it was obvious, like people were at this party, like people saw, like people were there, like obviously someone's gonna talk. At first I remember I denied it to Rachel's best friend because I wanted to keep it a secret and whatever, and then as I was like talking to her more and more, I remember just being like, why the fuck am I lying to her? And I told her everything, because I knew if Johnny got to Rachel first before this story got out, because it was gonna get out eventually, someone was gonna open their mouth, Johnny was gonna flip it, and Johnny was gonna say, oh my God, like she was like all over me, like I tried to tell her no and like whatever, because that's exactly what he said to me. looking back on it, if I could give you any piece of advice, it would just be don't do what I did. Because those like 5-minute time periods every like 30 minutes that night was not worth Rachel getting hurt, was not worth me getting hurt because I got hurt again in the process, and it was not worth any of the shit that happened following that. Because that little one night stuck with me throughout the rest of my high school career, and I missed out on being friends with Rachel, which whether we were gonna be friends or not, because who knows, maybe we would have been friends, maybe we wouldn't have, but obviously at that point, like, she was not gonna be friends with me. At the end of the day, looking back, he was just one boy who wanted one thing and would say anything he wanted to get it, no matter who he was dating. But at the time, I was so in love with him still. He said jump, I said how high, and looking back, that should not have been the case at all. Be strong, stand your ground, don't take shit. Alright, you guys, that was the end of this story time. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, all of my links are gonna be at the end of this video and in the description box below. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name's Savannah. I make videos 3 days a week, or as much as humanly possible. I try to shoot for Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursdays though. I love you guys so much, and I'll be back in a couple days with a brand new video for you. Bye guys.